Hello, and welcome to the Gers TV. My name's Si Leslie, and we've got a new debutant tonight. Do you want to introduce yourself, Lewis? That was easy for me to say.
Hello, I'm Lewis Miller.
Is that it? Come on, chat away for a minute. You'll not be nervous in a minute.
Can I butt in? I'm Sandra Gable.
And we've got Sandra doing the TikTok in the background here, so you might hear the heavy breathing. That's not us. We've got Lewis here tonight, guys. We're a wee bit short, so Lewis has joined the team. It's his first night, and we've decided to get him in when it was an easy night because Rangers are playing shit hot. No, got that wrong. Rangers are playing shit. But there's loads and loads to talk about. Before we start, Lewis, do you want to say a couple of words about yourself?
Yeah, well, I started helping Si about 2 weeks ago when you did the quiz. I came down, I volunteered to come down and do the quiz, and as you've seen on TikTok, I didn't do too well, probably, if you've seen it. But yeah, I've been helping out the last couple of live streams and doing a bit of the behind the scenes, reading out comments, and I've just been helping out, but I'm looking forward to making my debut tonight.
There you go. So, he's all here. He turned up before us, nice and early, and all prepared to go. Just that, unfortunately, the team isn't as organised as yourself. Before we start, guys, we are live on the Gers TV Live. We're on the Gers TV YouTube, TikTok behind the scenes with Sandra. We're also on the Instagram for the first time tonight. Check the numbers quickly on that. Let me see how they are. It's the first time I've done the Instagram. Yep, good numbers on that as well. And as well as that, we're on Twitter, or what you might call X. It's a massive night, guys. So if you want to talk about Rangers, the management situation, the players, or the result at Rugby Park, please bring your comments in, fire them in, but be respectful. We all want the best for the football club. So let me start off with my opinion on it, and then I'll bring you in, Lewis. Before I start talking about the game, I spoke about this a few months ago, that the Rangers manager, when he first came in, you won't hear on the TikTok, it's just that, that's why it's called behind the scenes, Mark. When we first brought the manager in over a year ago, he mentioned a few things that really concerned me, and I've spoken about them for over a year now. He'd been saying that Rangers are a project. He's been saying that this is a rebuild. There's been a lot of excuses. Now, if you look at the manager at Aberdeen just now, he doesn't talk about rebuilds or projects or anything like that. And I think a club the size of Rangers Football Club should never be a project. When I was in Tenerife, I was with a couple of ex-players, and it was the first time when I met them. They said to me, well, I've never watched, a couple of them hadn't met before, and the first time they said, have you ever heard Rangers being a project? So, with that in mind, that tells me that he's not prepared to try and win titles the way that we thought, that he maybe thinks he's going to have 3 or 4 years. Now, let's get to the facts here. Rangers Football Club are no better off just now than we were a year ago under Michael Beale. That's my opinion on it. Everybody's entitled to their opinions. I'm trying not to do a sack the board night, a sack the manager night. Sack the board will be next week. I'm trying not to make it just a complete sack the manager. If anybody's got an opinion that wants to back the manager or gives their opinion on it, that's fine as well. Lewis, do you want to quickly read out the first comment we got? We got one sent in Wednesday night from Alex Kelly,
yes,
because he wants to defend the board. Sorry, the board and the management. So let's go.
Yep. He said, Clement needs to help himself now. He needs to show the character which convinced Graham Souness that he was indeed the right man to take the reins at Ibrox. He must now show a ruthless streak with our team. Tavernier and Dessers need took out the team. In my opinion, Casemiro and Lovelace should be thrown in, because we're fed up waiting on Danilo. He must also change formation and prove that he can adapt his tactics as we've become stale and boring to watch. Bajrami was bought as a 10, play him there. Diamande played wide left at his club, play him there. Barron and Raskin as our engine room. Only wins will do to get him through this period now, as the baying mob have clearly had enough. I will say this though, no manager in our entire history at Rangers has had to operate under these restraints. Ross Wilson, Stuart Robertson, James Bisgrove, Douglas Park and Michael Beale are the men responsible for this debacle. None of them were ever held to account. Clement, Bennett and now Gilligan are carrying the can for years of mismanagement and squandering millions.
So that's a good point. That's for Alex Kelly, who is part of the Rangers radio team, good friends of yours, and I urge you to watch our shows as well, because they've done us a few favours over the years and vice versa. The only issue I would have with what Alex is saying there, I know his opinion on it, and he's strongly backing the board and the manager. However, I think even Alex is a wee bit swaying now towards that. If you actually think of the words that he's saying there, he's not happy with the tactics of the team, he's not happy with the player selection, and he's not happy with the attitude, and that comes down to the manager. The game on Sunday, let's talk about it. Before we start talking about the actual game, Clement has been at Ibrox for a year. Alec Ray has been with Rangers for he was a Rangers supporter. So these people know what the surface is. They know it's an artificial surface, and they know that Derek McInnes has got the ability to outfox some of the best managers in the league. So there's no excuses, and the first thing he comes out with after the game is he mentions the park, and then he mentions the conditions. These things don't wash with me. What's your thoughts when you watch the game, Lewis?
Personally, well, I'd like to cover on what you were saying there at the end with the park. For years, every time we go down to Kilmarnock and we put in not a great performance, even when we played Livingston as well, and we played on the plastic park, and I don't think that's acceptable because we've been used to these conditions. And the professional footballers, personally, I think professional footballers should be able to adapt to any sort of actual football pitch, playable football pitch.
There's also, just for anybody that's not aware of this, and I'm quite sure if it being patronising, most people will be, at Auchenhowie just now there is 3 artificial surfaces, so the Rangers players play this on a regular basis.
Yep.
I would like to think, I don't know if they did it, but I'd like to think the training last week would have been on an artificial surface, so they're used to it for a week. Were they? I don't know. I just think if you start making excuses, then losers make excuses, winners find a way to win no matter what. And you're right, you've got to be able to play in different conditions. To me, the biggest problem Rangers have got just now is I feel that the players aren't comfortable. The tactics are rubbish, right? Everybody's, to a man, has agreed to that. The tactics are wrong and he's not changing them. I don't think the players are confident and comfortable with the tactics. I don't think some of the players know what they're actually meant to be doing with the tactics. I wonder if the management know. The fans don't know. And it's an absolute shambles. But we spoke for a while about the hole in the middle of the park. The defence not being right and Desser's not being good enough.
Yeah, I think some of our players look lost, especially Dessers, I think, because Dessers has scored goals for us this season, but at the same time he's also he's not been great at all, and I think everybody can agree on that. Dessers has not been great this season at all. Yeah.
Dessers has not been great, and people are saying, "Oh, but Danilio's coming back." I don't want to burst anybody's ball, right, but Danilio's not going to be the answer.
No.
If I'm right with that, fair enough, but I'll tell you now, Danilio isn't going to be the answer. He's another one that's made of glass. Big comment coming in here. Lewis, you get I've not got the specs on, so
yep.
I'll give you the job.
Hi lads, we urgently require investment. The club is in ruin from top to bottom. We were once an institution with a proud structure. This started away before Clement. We are no longer feared. Teams are playing us now thinking we are an easy 3 points. We have no leader. Tavernier is not a Rangers captain for a start. Big Balogun gets my vote for the armband, but we seriously need investment with a proper board. The club's a shambles at the moment, it's devastating.
So it's a great point for Tomo Thompson. I agree with everything what he said there. Now, one of the big telling points is this has happened a few times now. Rangers get beat. Balogun's came on with about 20 minutes to go or something. I can't remember how long. Balogun's not to blame. Balogun's getting dropped. He's only getting used when required. In my opinion, he's a better player than Proper and probably a better player than Suter as well. He's been loyal to Rangers when Rangers get rid of him. He was still paying to get in, coming up for the European games. And they put him out to do the chat, and don't get me wrong, he didn't shit himself. He comes out and he faces the media when the captain will do that. That's a leader right away. The guy's a leader, I'll give him that. But why are these players even sending somebody out that's hardly ever playing to be speaking and defending their incompetence? That tells me that the dressing room is. I think they've lost the dressing room completely. I just don't see it. But anyway, back to the game itself. Defence-wise, anytime you put a high ball into the Rangers box or a good cross, we're lost, and that doesn't matter what level we're talking, especially at Europe. I also think the manager's very lucky just now, because if we Tottenham on Thursday night, then he would be finished by Friday morning. It would be curtains up for him, and that's not taking anything away from Stewart, because he'll be a hard opposition. But looking at the defence, I don't think that the formation suits the team. I don't think we're hard to beat, and I don't think we know how to put the ball in the net when it matters. we're a nearly team. We nearly do everything. There's a hole in the middle of the park, and do you know what? I've been checking the social media. I don't know if you've been reading a lot of it. Normally, you get different opinions, and people are saying, "I don't agree with this." Every single person I've spoken to, and every comment I've seen on social media, nobody's happy with the formation or the tactics. Can you see a problem with that when you watch the game?
Yeah, well, I think a lot of Rangers fans have been saying lately, it doesn't look like Clement has got much of an identity or tactics wise. Doesn't look like he's got much of a clue when it comes to the whole tactics side of it. And the players look lost as well. So I think tactically something needs to change, whether that's to do with the manager or the players. Something needs to change tactically.
To me, all good managers know how to change a game. You know, even if you make the best managers make mistakes, but when they make a mistake, they can fix it. With 20 minutes to go, we're bringing on defenders when we need to win the game. It's a must-win game. Celtic and Aberdeen have dropped points. Now, quickly diverting for a second. Last week I made a comment, and I wish I hadn't made it, but it is true that Aberdeen team are the real deal this season, and I think they'll go all the way in the title race. And we should be giving them more respect than we were giving them. And a few of the comments at the time were Aberdeen will fall apart. I really don't see it. And I don't see us going to Celtic Park 2-0 down at half time and coming back for it. So Aberdeen are a concern. Now, watching Rangers just now, as soon as Kilmarnock score late on in the game's a bogey. I don't think any Rangers fan thinks we're coming back for it. We've got a striker who is the only striker that plays. We've got Ignami who comes on with 10 minutes to go. We've got players that are playing out of position. Tierney always plays in the right wing. I've been seeing play him on the left wing. The formation just beggars belief at times. Barron is always taken off as a sub. He's the first one taken off all the time. And the manager won't play players who he didn't sign. That's another point. And that's a bad sign of management if you're only playing the players that you brought to the club. On the actual goal itself, what's your opinion on it? My opinion was Jack Butland was probably out of position and the defence are all over the place as per usual.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think Jack Butland just kind of looked lost. He just kind of stood there with his arms out. He didn't look as if he didn't make himself look big as any goalkeeper should do. The defence just looked lost as well. You're right. You're spot on with that.
Now, I've said at the start of the season that I like Butland as a person. I think he's a good ambassador for the club, and he's probably what I would call a good goalkeeper. However, at the start of the season, if anybody watched Gers TV, on my review, I said when it was cost cutting him, he didn't have a lot of money. A good manager after what happened in the Scottish Cup final when Butland sold the goal, minutes to go, and gave Celtic the cup. I would have sold Butland for anything we could have got for him. We kept McCrory. McCrory obviously playing opposition for Kilmarnock, and he was celebrating after the game. I don't grudge the boy at all. The boy plays for a different team now. He could argue he was let down with Rangers. That's an argument for a different day. But I don't think Butland's that. I wouldn't say Butland's that much of a better goalkeeper anyway. Money wise, saving money, I would have kept McCrory and get rid of Butland. The goal that he loses again is a great goalkeeper saves it.
Yeah.
All right. His problem is that he's got donkeys in front of him in defence. That's the manager's fault. But the manager, I think as well, if you listen to the after-match comments, throws Butland under the bus, and he throws the right back. I can't pronounce his name. Casemiro. They call him Nana. There you go. I'm getting corrected already. That word will be here in a couple of weeks. He throws him under the bus. We've seen he's out of position, and he makes a comment about the goalkeeper. And I think if you listen to Balogun's after-match comments, he makes a few digs at the manager. But what he said about the manager was right about the tactics and people needing to stand up. The whole club just now, in my opinion, on the park especially, are a mess. I do think we should say at this point, Kilmarnock deserve to win the game. Yes. 100% think we get game credit for that.
So as that was.
Aye, well, I know for early years I've been on this show, and this isn't me trying to be a smartass, defending Derek McInnes. I think he got a hard time. The way the club treated him when he got offered the job the first time with Rangers, there's a lot of things happening that the support don't realise. And people in charge of the club just now treated him badly when it came to doing the final part of the deal. And I believe that Walter Smith also told McInnes not to take a job at the time. So there's a lot more to it than meets the eye. And I think that McInnes, in my opinion, if I said this 6 months ago, I'd get laughed at. And I did say it then, and I'll say it again. Derek McInnes is a better manager in Scottish football than Philip Clement. If you don't agree with that, guys, tell me. I don't mind. That's my opinion. I don't think Clement has understood the magnitude of the job, and I don't think he's got the ability to bring it back.
Yep.
it's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy now.
I don't think he is bringing it back.
Well, we've got Aberdeen, so we've got St Mirren at Ibrox. It's all right saying we'll win the game. It's going to be hard with the pressure he's under. Steaua Bucharest are obviously they've rebranded their names Bucharest, right? They've got them on Thursday night. He'll get a bye with the Europa League. I think he'll get a bye with that now, unless they take a pounding. Hopefully we get a win. St Mirren, we should win. But this is me being honest, and I always try and be honest in the show. If something's a bag of shit, I call it a bag of shit. Other channels won't do that, but I dare. We've got to Pittodrie in 2 weeks' time, and I don't fancy our chances.
No, I'm the same. Looks,
And in fact, it's a week's time, innit?
yeah,
It's a week's time. Aye,
tomorrow,
get my
actually.
dates right.
Yep. No, I agree with you. Aberdeen against Celtic. I never seen much of the game, but I just kept tabs on it like I do most of the Scottish games. The way that Aberdeen came back into the game, especially being 2-0 down, I looked at the score and I thought it was going to be about 5 or 6 to Celtic. But no, Aberdeen looked and came back and they had a lot of fighting. That manager looks to be the real deal for Aberdeen anyways. That Jimmy Thielen or Thielen,
Yep.
I don't know how to pronounce it.
So he's just come into the. It's pronounced Jimmy.
Jimmy. That's it.
He's just come into Scottish football.
Yeah.
Right, he's not making excuses about long-term projects. He's not making excuses about parks or conditions. He's put his seed down, and as much as I hate Aberdeen, he's got them playing like a team that are challenging Celtic. We are no challenging Celtic, and we're going to struggle to challenge Aberdeen. That might be his last game. If he can get wins and keep winning, he might be able to save his soul. As I say, I don't really want to be doing a... Ryan's came on and said exactly what I'm thinking here. He's a dead man walking. I'm trying not to make a show, sack the manager. That's not what we're about. But at the same time, I think probably 99% of the Rangers support just now, if they had the option, they would sack the manager.
Yes.
I've been scunnered with him after Ross County, going to Ross County and playing for a draw at a time when they brought us back and we could win the league. Just finished me with him. Some of his tactics and some of his decision making just beg a belief. But I'm reading on that social media, I can't see anybody. Alex Kelly's a good guy, but he's the only guy I know that's defending him. Every single person I've seen has seen the same things. There's no shape, there's no structure. Doesn't make any sense. We're out of position, the players are all playing out of position, the players don't look as if they know what... Nobody knows what the game plan is. Another wee thing that I've seen, now this is something that really, to me, doesn't make any sense. We've got the 2-3 ex-players on the bench coaching the club, coaching the players. But when a sub's coming on, the goalkeeping coach gives them instructions. The goalkeeping coach gives them the last instructions before they run on the park. I don't know if I'm not sure if it's undermining the coaching staff or no, but it doesn't make sense to me. The coaches that are coaching, the goalkeeping coach should be keeping the goalkeeping situation in place. But the guys like Alec Rain, that should be the guys, last point of contact on the park, that's your job, do it. It's wee things, but see all these wee things, they're really getting on my goat now. I can't see how the manager can survive it. If anybody can, you can phone us in. Ryan, it'd be good to get your opinion on it as well. I know you're kind of similar to myself, and Davey Haird's going to phone in as well. But if anybody thinks I'm wrong, that's fine. Do you think I'm wrong, or do you think he's going to survive it?
I don't think you're wrong. No, I agree with Ryan. It is a dead man walking in a way. Reports came out yesterday that he's supposedly got 10 days. Whether they're reliable or not, but that takes us up to after the Aberdeen game.
Exactly. Because the board are obviously thinking of what's left of the board. We'll go into that another day because we'll be here till 2 in the morning. They're obviously thinking common sense. We can't keep losing. Even if they like him, I will do, Ryan, even if people like him as a person, it's not a personality thing. I don't particularly like him anyway, I'll be honest with you. I feel as if he's a bully. I've heard rumours he's a bully, and I don't like the way he's treated some ex-players and players. And I'll give you another quick example. I'm looking at the number 10 position, and I'm looking at Lawrence. Lawrence isn't the same player since his injury from 2 years ago. Lawrence shouldn't be playing with Rangers. Now Welsh is playing with Rangers, he's not good enough, and Welsh is not good enough. We've just got rid of Cantwell, who the fans don't like anymore because of the Chris Sutton stuff. I don't care about that. Cantwell's a better number 10. And what the good managers done, Graham Souness done it, Walter Smith done it, Alex Ferguson would do it. They get their great players, guys, and I'm not comparing them to Gaza in any way, but Gaza was a head case. But he made sure that Gaza knew the rules and he got the best of him. And a guy like Cantwell, we should have been making sure we got the best of him. But instead of doing that, we chased him away, we made a big thing about it. And we played Scott Wright in his position, we played Lawrence, none of them are good enough. the signings he's made. Diamondi, is he really excited?
When Diamondi came into the club,
At first,
at first he looked good when he came in on loan. At first I thought he looked good. When I seen that we made the deal permanent, I was happy. But ever since he's came in a permanent, he just doesn't like to get involved in the game as much as what he used to. Anyways,
he's very lightweight as well. Do you want to get his comment? I'm going to get Ryan to call, right? If you want to read this out for his league.
yeah, well,
Lewis, I'm calling you Liam now.
I agree with you, Si, about McInnes, and I agree if you suggested that 6 months ago, you would be laughed at.
Yep.
I'll throw
Which is
another one
fine.
in the hat. I totally admire what Big Duncan Ferguson is doing with Inverness. I was always surprised he didn't get the reins at Everton full time because he done well when he was interim. His commitment with Inverness is unreal. He has players fighting for him. Sorry.
He has, I'll get it.
That's fine.
He's got players, I don't know. This is a new system I've got on here to find that. There we go, we'll find it on this. Chat. There you go.
Yep.
What about you?
He has his players fighting for him. Something we are lacking badly. Plus the big man knows what we are all about.
Okay, Tomo, I'm going to disagree with you here. I think you're spot on. Everything you're saying on it, apart from one thing that a lot of the fans have kind of forgot about. Rangers let him down. You'll be far too young to remember this, and he probably holds a grudge. I've never really seen much about Rangers since then. There was an incident with Willie McStay where he got to jail for no even headbutting him. Willie McStay didn't even appeal it, and I'm quite sure Willie McStay didn't go to court. And at the time, Rangers had Donald Finlay, one of the greatest legal brains in the world at the time, and Rangers wouldn't back the man, and he went to Ballina prison. Now, the SFA actually fined him and suspended him before he was tried in court. There's a law in the land is innocent until proven guilty, apart from the SFA. So Rangers let him down badly, and I think because he let him down badly, Tom, I agree with your comments about him as a manager and the fight and everything else, but I think the way he was let down, he'll never come back with Rangers, and I wouldn't blame him, to be honest. That's my opinion on that. I'm going to get Ryan to call in just now. You want to put the earphones on?
Yep.
Guys, you remember when TikTok used to hear the call?
We can do this. We'll do sign language.
Yes, yes. Take something up.
Right, get the comments up as well. Who's texting me? I'm on live on Gers TV. Right. So, 2 seconds, we'll get this in. Few comments coming in just now. Previous managers have been sacked for less. Tav is supposed to be the right back, not halfway up the park and struggles to get back. That's the problem. Tav's finished and he's not got the pace to go back anywhere. In a nutshell. Ryan, how you doing, mate?
Hey guys, we can't hear you.
Ryan.
Oh, sorry. Can't hear you.
Oh, can't hear you, mate. Hold on, I've not got my earphones plugged in. 2 seconds. There we go. Ryan. Oh, that's us now, right? Hey, we're back, mate. How you doing?
Is that now alright?
Can you hear him alright?
I hear you fine, I hear me.
Aye, so don't put Lewis under any pressure in his debut tonight with any hard questions.
That's it. How you doing, Lucy? Alright, pal?
Oh, no bad yourself.
Aye, alright. Aye, so obviously Sunday, awful watching it, really.
Well, this is the thing, Ryan, obviously you're part of the channel, mate. We can't come on here and start saying that we can't run a channel, right, and start saying it's not as bad, it's not that bad, we don't want to upset the management or the board. It's garbage.
Yep.
It's utter garbage, to be fair.
Aye, we could still be down there and still no scored. That's the truth, it.
Aye. And the manager still wouldn't have changed the tactics. If we were still playing, it would still be the same formation and everything.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I don't know how many times that we can't defend a long ball. It just seems that any time anyone puts a long ball at us, it ends up in the back of the net.
Mate, you've been focused on this for about 6 months now, but it's probably been happening for about 2 years.
Aye, yeah. Remember the goal against Aris scored against us last season, Ibrox?
Yeah.
Obviously, it was 1 each start night. I was no long after Cantwell get subbed off.
Hearts scored against us in the first minute.
Just about the back post.
Aye. We can't, so that to me right away is the coach, the coaching staff or whatever. I can see it, you can see it, the fans can see it. Why have we never improved on that?
Aye. The problem lies for us in the middle of the park. We've got absolutely no creativity in the middle of the park, and our centre halves are carrying the ball into midfield.
Aye,
and
there's a gap.
Aye, and you'll see the weekend. The problem lies the centre halves goal. I nearly said this. Christ, Suter and Balogun at the weekend proper as well. They're carrying the ball to midfield. They get the ball nicked off them, and the ball gets punted long. There's no water carrier there. We Barons, me and Gordy spoke about length is doing the work of two guys.
Aye. And do you think that the players are happy with the formation? Because if you lose the players, it doesn't matter. Once you lose it at the dressing room, you've no chance. I don't think the players are happy with it.
I mean, it shows the players have stopped playing for them. It's blatantly obvious the players have stopped playing for them. There's no fight, there's no leadership. As soon as we go 1-0 down, you know we're finished. We're not coming back for anything. As soon as
we would never have done. Sorry, Ryan. We wouldn't have done what Aberdeen done at Parkhead at the weekend.
No chance. Absolutely no chance. We would have came for 1-0 done, never mind 2-0 done.
Yeah, and also we've spoken about the strikers before, but also what about his the manager's his substitutes? They genuinely baffle me what he brings on and why he brings them on.
I can't understand why he never brought Ross McCausland on.
A winger for
It's
a
for
winger.
me.
Right.
Aye, and it seems to me he seems to do everything in his power to keep James Tavernier in the park. So much so that he's now playing at right midfield. And how many years have the Rangers support been on about we should be moving Tavernier up one? And professionals like Kenny Miller and all these other kind of guys that have worked with the guy said, listen, you can't move him up. He's no suited to moving up. But now it seems to be happening at 32, nearly 33 years of age. Is that all of it?
I mean, the whole thing with the Tavernier's a goner. Do you know what I mean? It's a matter of time, but the longer you play him, see if he was a racehorse, he'd have been shot.
Right. Did you see Casemiro set up for the Dutch under-21 team just during the week before that game?
Aye.
He said a great assist for the Dutch goal for the under-21s team, and he still can't get anywhere near their team at all.
You got 2 assists actually, but 2 assists.
I've only seen the one. Lewis. But so, and they can't get a game for us now. Who was the last Dutch under-21 international that came to Scotland and done no bad? Was it, we then moved on to a better club and won the German league last year. So these boys have got talent. Why are we not playing them?
Aye. No, that's a definite. The players that have came in, Tierney constantly plays on the right hand side for one, and he doesn't look comfortable on it. And he's a one-trick pony. They're playing players out of position constantly that you're thinking, why are you playing them out? I don't mind playing players out of position when there's a reason, but you made a good point. You're mentioning wingers. Why you're not bringing your winger on when you've got an opportunity to bring him on? Is it because McCausland wasn't signed by him? Is that the issue?
I think they said they came back for the international break with a knock, right? Mm-hmm. But if he's come back for the international break with a knock and he's on the bench, why is he on the bench? Do you know, surely he's capable. We go 1-0 down with 15 minutes to go.
Yeah.
You turn around and say, listen, man, you're carrying up, you need 15 minutes here. We're needing a goal. We need a bit of creativity. Could you give us that?
And I'll guarantee you they came on. See if you'd have asked it to come on, I guarantee you would have came on.
Aye.
See
if he's no fit. Well, listen, see if he's no fit and he can't come on. Why is he on the bench? And then instead, why are you not playing Alex Lowry on the bench?
I just genuinely don't
giving guys like that a chance.
Aye. And also the 10 minutes to go, Rangers need to win. They need to win the game. Draw's no good. Why do we not even have at this point? I would have said 2 attackers. I would have had Dessers and Ignami up front and went probably 4-4-2 or whatever formation you want to go with. But I would have had the 2 strikers and went for it.
Aye, yeah. We would obviously put those different formations out at the start of the week there.
And I'll get a lot of good debate.
Aye, and it's perfectly obvious that it's not working. We're ruining Mohamed Diamandi's career right now. With the formation that we're playing him in. He came to us with a great calibre, a great reputation as one of Europe's up-and-coming stars. Came from the Ghanaian school. I think it was the school of talent. I can't remember what it was called. He came through Nordsjælland's youth academy as well, which is highly regarded in Denmark. And now he looks dead average because he's playing the wrong system for us.
It's incredible.
So,
and do you see any way back for the manager?
I don't, but the problem is you can't exactly.
Can't afford to sack him, can't afford not to.
Money-wise, but also football-wise, right? Because if you sack him, right, we could join Gilligan, who stepped in as interim chairman, right, which obviously well appreciated, came to the club when he's needed and stuff, but if the interim chairman then sacks the manager, do we end up with an interim manager as well?
I know.
And do you think anyone's going to play for interim manager? No. So where does that leave his football? At least if he's got the only stable job at the club just now. He's the only guy that realistically can turn around and say, I've got a 4-year contract, I'm going to be here in 3 years, 4 years, whatever it's going to be.
I mean, the biggest issue is that nobody's got any answers, nobody knows. I really don't know. We've spent about 6 months trying to get a CEO, so how long would it take us to get a manager? And when I say a manager, I mean a good manager.
They do touch that job at a basketball side. They're looking at taking like that. No chance. Absolutely no way. It's the poison chalice just now. Until there's investment comes in and certain people are basically sold their interest in our club, there's nobody to come in and work for us that's got any kind of credibility at all. Unless you were absolutely desperate for a job, and you were very much up and coming, and all of us were taking a chance on them. Nobody's going to touch us at basketball.
No, great call, mate. So before you finish, so you confident for Thursday night then?
No.
I'm the same. I've heard rumours. I've read the media reports as well that they might even play a weekend team against us.
Really?
That's it.
Well,
That's a rumour, aye.
Their main striker gets sent off in the last game, so he's suspended. There are 2 games that they've played. They beat a kind of unknown team in the first game. I think they beat them 2-0 RP. So I'm not familiar with who they are at all, but they got quite a credible draw against PAOK, the Greek champions. They beat them 1-0
Aye.
in Salonika.
I don't think if Rangers win on Thursday night, it's only buying them time anyway. He needs to start winning in the league, and he needs to start. We need to start scoring away for him. We've scored 1 goal away for him.
Aye, just need to start scoring in general.
Aye.
It's mental. You're looking at Dessler started the season well. You can't deny started the season well. Everything he touched turned to gold at the start of the season. But we then overplayed him.
Well, on Sunday, I think let me get the stats right here. I think it was 8 touches of the ball, or maybe 11, that he got in the first half. He hardly got a sniff of the ball. That's not helping him right away. But again, that's down to the system. Dessers isn't the type of player that would play in that system.
But see, as soon as he comes up against anyone physical at all,
Aye.
he's no interest in playing against physical centre half. See, if you lay one on him the first time you game near him, he runs away. And you see the job that Vassell's done for them at the weekend.
Aye.
Holding the ball up, taking play, drawing fouls, bringing other guys into play. You know, your Armstrongs, your Watkins of this world. Dessers doesn't do that for us at all. I've started calling him Teflon Dessers because nothing sticks.
I mean, the old alternatives we've got with that is Ignami has been on the bench coming on. I don't think, to be honest, I thought at first he showed a bit of promise, but nothing else. He hasn't scored. Another one is Danilo. I don't see Danilo ever been back to full fitness. I might be wrong.
Aye, I don't know. I mean, obviously you're hoping so. Danilo's lifting a really high wage office just now. We spent a lot of money on it to get him there.
Aye.
So you're needing him to come back and do it. But I mean, we've seen it before with Rangers strikers. They've come in. I don't even think Danilo had that particularly great start anyway for us. So he's missing a lot of chances. He's got a couple of goals, but he's missing a lot of chances. Then he's burst his knee. He's come back again, scored 1 goal. He's burst his knee again. Look, if we didn't have any bad luck, would they look at all?
Aye. There's been a lot of reasons why we've been pretty shit as well, but the biggest one for me is the manager has to change it. Has to admit he's making mistakes and change it, because if he's frustrating the fans are then putting the frustration onto the team, and the team don't look as if they've got any characters that can react to that. I think that the pressure's too much for the manager, and I think the pressure's too much for the players.
Well, my personal opinion is I think we need to switch to a 3-5-2. The goalkeeper's low in confidence as well. You can see that the way the goalkeeper's played. He's not coming out and collecting crosses like he used to, anything between the 6-yard box and the penalty spot for crosses. He's in there disallowed goal at the weekend. The goalkeeper, that's the goalkeeper's ball of the day, so you need to help him out and get somebody in front of him.
Aye, I mean, the argument I would say, because obviously you were reading that debate you posted, but you'd posted it about the different formations. 3 at the back and 5 at the back, it's very similar. It's 3 at the back when you're 3 at the back when you're defending, and 5 at the back when you're 5 at the back when you're defending, and 3 at the back when you're attacking. That's the way it should be played.
Well, you deal with the personnel you've got. It takes, if he wants to carry on playing Tavernier, that's his choice, but it takes Tavernier out of defence and puts him into this kind of further wide right position, so he's not having to worry about tracking back and having to do those yards that he can't do anymore. It puts Jeff in the left-hand side where he can be more effectual getting up and down the left-hand side without having to worry about the defensive side of the game as much.
Or he can just bite the bullet, change his tactics, and at least if he changes his tactics, then the fans can't turn around and criticise him. They'll say, well, you've finally listened and you're trying to change it.
Yep. Well, it also puts 3 across the middle of the park, where at this moment in time we've only got 1 guy across the middle of the park, me Barron, who's basically shielding just now. Me and Andy's anonymous every week. and Lawrence isn't doing enough for us at all. So you're putting that across there, and then you've got two strikers, and you're up there. You're actually got somebody who's going to partner Dessers and give Dessers a hand.
Aye.
So he's got to. We're regular Joes, we're average punters, and we can see we're no trained professionals that went and done X, Y, Z, UEFA courses and all this kind of stuff and played the game at a professional level, and we can see it. How can he not see it?
Yep. No, I agree with that. 100%, Ryan. 100% agree with you, mate. Anything you want to ask Ryan there on that?
Well, if you don't like, if you're not a fan of Lawrence recently in Diamandi, what would your midfield three be for Thursday night?
For Thursday night, if I was to play the 3-5-2,
Aye, if you're to play the 3-5-3, what would your midfield three be?
barring Diamandi and Bajrami.
Aye.
And I play Diamandi behind Bajrami, and I play Barron, behind Diamandi and Bajrami.
Because they're at risk of ruining Barron's career with the pressure we're putting on the boy.
Aye, yep. And the boy's playing out his skin, and he's done well. I know you were saying he was getting subbed off and stuff like that, but he's only really, for me, had one bad mistake all season. Obviously led to a goal and stuff like that.
Aye.
But
No, I was making the point that I don't think he should be getting subbed off a lot of times, but
No.
when I see him getting subbed off, that tells me he's getting the blame.
Yep. But that would be my midfield three for what loses that. And then I'd play Yamani and I'd play Dessers up front.
Aye.
And I'd actually have a go at him. I'd have Lovelace on the bench as well for a replacement for one of the two, then get injured if Danilo's still not available yet.
Another thing, just before I forget, because I did want to talk about this tonight and I just nearly forgot about it. See the young boy, Yofeko? He's in Exeter. Yofeko, they call him, innit?
Yep.
He's with Exeter City now, and they've got a flag and everything made for him. He's doing well. And I said, if I remember last season, I would have kept him, I would have put him out on loan, and we should have been working him into the team. He's a physical boy, and he seemed to adapt to the Scottish football.
Yeah, he's unfortunately a victim. Like, you've seen Lewis Mayo obviously playing for Kelly the weekend, you see Ross McCrory playing for Kelly the weekend. We never give these boys a chance ever. Bailey Rice has disappeared off the face of the earth.
That's true, aye.
As well.
No, that's
so it's hard to do these things when you're not playing well, because at this moment in time, we're calling for the manager's head. And see if the manager was to go out there and play young boys and still keep losing, it's you can't eat the young boys will go down with him, sort of thing. We've never been a great club for bleeding youngsters. I think you can probably count in two hands over the last 20-25 years the amount of decent youngsters have actually come through and made it.
And that was why Advocate insisted we go the Auchenheavy in the first place. It's no worked out.
Not at all. You're actually almost in a position where you say, listen, let's just scrap this altogether, because it's just not working. We're wasting money on it every single season.
Well, the classic example we talk about it seems as if we repeat ourselves every week, but Lewis Ferguson, he played in the Rangers youth team.
Yep.
Another one that get away. And you can't buy him now, it's too late.
There's loads of guys. Kenny McLean played in the Rangers youth team. Liam Kelly's went away and came back to his.
Costs his money.
Lewis Morgan, obviously, he was through the Rangers youth team. He obviously made a bit of a mistake. Greg Taylor, who's in the Rangers youth team as well, who's a good Rangers supporters member, is obviously now playing for them. There's loads of guys that have come through. Even Big Xander Clark, the Hearts reserve goalkeeper, he was a Rangers. He's a Rangers boy through and through for Dundalk.
So there's something wrong.
There's guys that are making it. You're almost looking at Rangers now as a youngster. It's almost like an apprenticeship.
Aye, actually, if you're a Rangers supporter and you want to make it in the Rangers team, I would suggest don't join Rangers as a young boy, because you've got no chance of progression.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
There's so many things wrong at so many different levels that it's where do you start?
Aye.
Where do you start?
I agree with you 100%, mate. And you were 50-50 with Clermont a couple of months ago, so it's not as if you're not jumping on the bandwagon. I think for the last couple of weeks you've been saying is that it's getting worse, basically, isn't it?
I mean, I've always kind of said, listen, he's been given no backing by the board.
Aye.
He's got no support from above him. He's only picking what the best he can do and stuff like that. But when you see the tactics of the weekend and what we're looking at, if we can call better things than what he's calling, that's where you got to say, listen, mate, I know you can only walk with the legs you're given, but come on, you've got better legs than what you're walking with at the moment.
Aye. No, I agree with you 100%, mate. Great call.
All right. Listen, guys, I'll crack on. I'll maybe see you on Thursday night at the game, all right?
All the best, mate. Cheers.
Okay,
Thanks.
take care. See you after. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Cheers. So that was Ryan, who does Cheers TV with us, phoning us up tonight. Tell us what you think of his comments here. Ryan was supporting the manager up to the last couple of months, but I think most people the weekend changed their mind. I think Sunday was the end for them. Do you want to read this comment out? I'm going to get Davey Hare to quickly.
Yeah, I seen this comment as we were on the call from Alex Kelly. Tavernier said Warburton, Cashinha, Murty, Gerrard, Gio, Beale and now Clement. 7 managers in 10 years. The most any Rangers player has had in our entire history. We've had 19 managers our entire history until now. The problems from the boardroom eventually filter onto the park. The pressure from our support is affecting our young team.
Can't I disagree with that? Who's that calling in the new? I don't know the last 3 digits, so I can't take that call, guys. If you're going to give us a call, you need to leave the last 3 digits so we know who you are. So I don't recognise that one.
The last 3 digits of your mobile number.
Yeah, of your mobile number, just so we know who you are. So, 2 seconds.
Are you jumping between channels, man?
No, I'm thinking deleting people.
Who's they talking to you?
Alright, sorry, somebody else. Just deleting the channel. The comments here, sorry. Try to keep it a clean family show. So we're going to get Davey here to call in a few seconds. I think he'll hopefully catch him. I know he does his babysitting on a Tuesday night. But comments that have came in the last couple of minutes. So Hadji and Danilo are both starting for the B team tonight. That's interesting. Hadji can't play in Europe, so he won't play on Thursday night, obviously. He's not in the squad. He got sent off, so he couldn't play he couldn't play against Kilmarnock, but he's fresh and he's ready to make an impact, and he's better than the midfield players that were playing, guys like Lawrence, so I agree with that. So just having a wee look at other comments that are coming in, guys. We've got 10 minutes left. If anybody's want to call in, I just need the last 3 digits of your number so I know who it is that's phoning in, because we know what happens anytime Rangers are having a wee bit of a hard time. People have got nothing else to do with their life, decide that they want to phone up and talk about the famous Glasgow Rangers. As always. And win, lose or draw, we always do a show, we always come on facing music and dance. Well, I don't know about dancing, but I'm going to get another 5 minutes, try and get Davey Hare to come on, and if no, anybody else just want to call, all needs the last 3 digits and you can let us know your opinion on the current situation with Rangers Football Club. Comments are coming in. Any comments on the Instagram or on the TikTok?
No, it was just Mark James. He's jumping between here and YouTube for the calls.
Aye.
So you can hear the calls.
No, that's good. And there's a comment came in and saying it's back. This is really a good point. It's backwards and sidewards football and constant back passing, and it's horrible football to watch. It's very boring. So can't disagree with that.
The young supporters, they don't know the Rangers we know, Sally. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with that. Well, there's Lewis there. He's probably grown up there. He's grown up at an age where he's not expecting Rangers to be winning trophies. Mr. Herd, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm probably doing what everybody else is doing, Si, to be quite honest with you.
Davey,
I don't think there's a lot I can add to what Ryan was saying.
Aye, over the last couple of months, you've not been, I won't say defensive towards the manager, but you've never really been a sack your manager type of guy. Has that changed at the weekend?
I'm getting a lot closer, let's put it that way. I'm a wee bit like Ryan in the fact that how do we actually go about sacking somebody when we've got no money and I know we replace them, because a temporary manager is the last thing we want.
I agree with that, true.
I do think there is something in there about. I think he's been set apart in terms of how much money he had in the summer there. I mean, everybody keeps talking about the rebuild that he done in the summer. I don't think it was a rebuild. I think it was a downsizing. I think he was given the task of creating a team that cost the club less money per week, per month than the previous team did.
When you're saying given the task, Davey, do you think he knew that when he took the job, or do you think he
I don't know. I don't know if he did. Because I think when you go back to January, when things were flying, we just won the League Cup. He brought in that Portuguese, what's he called, Silva?
Aye, Silva.
Aye, and he brought Diamandi in and a sort of option to buy and stuff. And he talked about this is the first stage of my rebuild, there will be big changes in the summer. I thought at that point he thought he was going to be able to bring in, let's call it more of his first choice players than I think what he's ended bringing in. So the whole mismanagement in the club, I think, has absolutely bit Clement in the arse, to be quite honest with you. At the end of last season, that was another 4 or 5 players left under freedom of contract. We get no money for them. Guys like Barisic should have been sold for money. Lundstrom should have been sold for money.
So that a lot of that I would blame James Bisgrove for.
Absolutely. So I think there's still some mitigating circumstances, but I do think Clement is absolutely running out of road, and it does feel right now as if it's a case of sort of when.
So you're the guy, Davey. You like to talk tactics a lot, and you know your football. Get your credit with that. I feel as if the players they're not suited to the tactics, and I think some of the players are not sure what their role is.
I think you've heard me talk about this before, Si. Any decent manager doesn't actually have a preferred formation. Mm-hmm. What they do is they look to see what the strengths of the players they have available to them, and then they create they make the formation fit their strengths. Mm-hmm. Actually, I don't know if you've seen it last night. There was a thing in Sky Sports News last night about Thomas Tuchel, who's just got the England job.
Didn't see it.
And it listed. It went through the starting formations he's had, in his last 4 or 5 clubs. Dortmund, Bayern Munich, Chelsea, and all that. Do you know that he had 8 different starting formations?
Is that right?
No, I couldn't even think there was 8 formations, but there was 8 of them.
I can't think what the 8 formations could be apart from was it Scotland that done the old 11 men behind the ball?
The old 4-6-0. There was things like 4-2-2-2 and 3-4-1-2 and things like that. And I think, geez, that's something that was quite creative, I thought. But in effect, what it was he was looking at the opposition. He was looking at the players that he had available, and he was tailoring the team to suit who he was playing against.
I know that makes sense, but would I not be right in saying that I'm pretty sure that Davy Crawford mentioned this last week when Clement was it Bruges he was the manager whatever, but when the other clubs he's played with, that he was quite well known for changing his tactics. He didn't keep the same formation. I'm pretty sure.
To be honest, you could be right. I honestly I didn't pay much attention to him when he was in Bruges or Monaco. Mm-hmm. In fact, when he became Rangers manager, when he was getting talked about as potential Rangers manager, it was the first time I had really heard his name that much, to be honest. But the one thing I was wanting to mention tonight, I don't think anybody's mentioned yet, though.
Injuries?
No injuries. I'm going to call it identity. So if I think he didn't have a lot of money to spend. What's he done with it, though? He's brought in a lot of overseas players. He's got a lot of young players, new leaders. If I think what most successful Rangers managers have done, with the exception of Dick Advocaat, because he had tens of millions to spend.
Aye.
If you don't include him, even with Gerrard done, even at the very beginning, he brought in Alan McGregor, he brought in Scott Arfield, he brought in Stephen Davis, he already had Ryan Jack. He had a spine of there of people that knew what the club was about. And I actually think the thing that's been missing in Rangers for the last couple of years is a successor to Jimmy Bell. That sounds crazy, because it's the kit man, for God's sake. But see when you look back at the run to Seville and all that kind of stuff, guys like interviewed like Bassey, he knows nothing about Rangers, and he'd be able to talk about the importance of the jersey, the importance of the shirt. You can't afford to get beat even once in this. And it was all Jimmy Bell was teaching them as soon as they walked in the door.
There's nobody. I can't think of anybody at all at the club that would be able to guide them that way now.
Well, I think Jimmy Bell picked a successor, didn't he? And then Bisgrove sacked him.
And he got sacked for Bisgrove.
Bisgrove sacked him. And I think that's one of his many negative legacies for the club, is he's ripped the sort of Rangers soul at it.
Well, I wouldn't blame Bisgrove for that. I would blame the board, because the board appoint somebody that shouldn't have got the job. They're quite happy to appoint somebody that's not a Rangers man, who doesn't have anything in common with the support. He knows nothing about the history, like you says, but also the ex-players and the current players all despised him, and yet the board still wanted to promote him and promote him again. So at the end of the day, if you're going to promote a problem, then the problem's going to stay. But I agree with you, there's no identity at all with the club.
So what I think what I'm basically saying is, if there's nobody within the club can teach these foreign players about the demands that's going to be put on them, the expectations the crowds have got, the history of the club, the importance of winning trophies, all that stuff.
Yeah.
if there's nobody within the club to do it, then the dressing room's got to do it.
Structure. I mean.
And if the dressing room hasn't got anybody in it either, then nobody's going to do it, is it?
Aye, well, I thought when Alec Ray had got the position, he was obviously there before Clement. It was with Stephen Davis and Alec Ray. I thought Alec Ray might be doing that, but I don't know. As I've said, I don't know if you heard my comments earlier. That the is it Jim Stewart, the goalkeeping coach? Is that right?
Colin Stewart.
Colin Stewart, sorry. Aye,
Jim Stewart's son, isn't
Stewart. Is it? Aye. I didn't
Aye,
know
he's
that,
his son.
Right, anyway, goalkeeping coaches gain the instructions to the players immediately before they go in the park. When you've got two coaches, no giving them instructions, I wonder why that is. It doesn't tell me that they've got that big an influence.
Aye. So if I look at the guys they brought in during the summer, there was rumours at one time there's guys like Kenny McLean might be coming to Rangers. There was rumours Shankland obviously. The young boy Miller at Motherwell was meant to be getting looked at. The young boy Cameron at Dundee was meant to be getting looked at. Obviously Shankland. Even and I'm not saying I wouldn't have brought them all, but I think I would have brought at least two of them, and just to try and help educate the other ones that were coming in.
I mean, Arfield done it for years. You're right. Arfield was there was games where you could argue that, and some great Rangers teams have had this, where some of the players haven't been great players, but they've been great motivators.
Aye. So I feel heart sorry for young Barron because he would be double the player if he had a Steve Davis beside him, but if there was such a thing as a modern Barry Ferguson, that kind of a general, a leader beside him in midfield.
Aye.
But
I've mentioned it earlier on.
Things by young boys.
Aye, I think Barron. I think he gets to blame a lot of things that maybe it's his fault, but sometimes when you're covering 2 or 3 positions and you're trying too hard, you can create negativity as well. But I think Barron's getting a hard time from the manager the way he's playing that system.
When it comes to systems and tactics and stuff, I mean, I'm totally in Ryan's side. That thing they put on Facebook earlier this week with its potential systems on it, it was me that put this big spiel on it about I would go to 3-5-2. So, and Ryan agreed with me. For me, if you can't find 2 centre halves that you can rely on to keep clean sheets, then you play 3. If you don't have 2 disciplined central midfield players that don't leave spaces, then you play 3. And if you haven't got 1 striker you can rely on to score goals, you play 2. So, and you sacrifice the wide areas.
What you're saying there is just, to me, is common sense. You adapt to what you've got.
Aye, I mean, plus the fact we've not got any decent wingers anyway.
We don't have
sorry, you know, if the likes of Cherny and McCausland and all the wingers that we've got, Cortez if he's ever fit, if they were going to be guys that were going to assist 15 goals and score 10 goals a season, then fair enough, you can maybe say play wingers, but I don't see any of them as that.
No, I agree with you. I mean, another thing as well is with when you're mentioning the wingers, we don't have any good wingers. McCausland's probably the best out of them all, and I'm not saying he's a great winger, but he's actually been on form the last couple of months, and we don't bring him on for a game that we need to win with 10 minutes to go.
I think he's certainly got the best attitude of any of the wide players we've got. I think he's
the most direct.
He's still young. I think he's still got improvement in him. I would certainly play him ahead of most of the other ones at the moment.
So before we finish up, we've only got 8 minutes left. Thursday night, what's your thoughts on it?
Thursday night, well, the first thing I'm going to say is there was only 41,000 at the Leon game. So unfortunately, I think there's going to be at least 10, 12,000 empty seats in Ibrox on Thursday night. And I think that tells you a lot about what the fans are thinking these days.
Yeah.
Because we blamed all the empty seats earlier this season because it was Hampden. It just shows you it's not just Hampden. No. And I think that's a vote in Clement as well. What do I think of the game? I think if we can't win this game, then I look at all the rest of the fixtures we've got and I wonder how many we actually can win. This is probably the easiest, well, it's the easiest, but this is probably the game out of all the rest of our fixtures that should be the most guaranteed 3 points.
I mean, I'm trying not to say it earlier on because when you do this channel, obviously if you're picturing, and Lewis hasn't experienced this till later on, he'll get it. If I say something like they're the easiest team in the group, then we should beat them, there's a good chance we'll then go and get humped and then they make names and things like that. But I'm not thinking the same as you. If there's a team that we should be beating, it should be Stu on Thursday night. But I don't have the confidence.
I think I'm right in saying that this team were pot 4. I'm pretty sure I'm right in saying that. Now you get one pot 4 team at home and one pot 4 team away. This is so pot 4 at home should be the game that you're most likely to win, I would have thought.
Aye, I mean, it's an opportunity for us, and I mean, the manager at the weekend, they mentioned weather and they mentioned the park and things like that. The bottom line is, you've mentioned this a lot of times to me, Davey, winners find a way to win.
Correct.
Losers find a way to lose.
Correct.
On Thursday night, it doesn't matter how Rangers win, they need to find a way to get past them.
And the horrible thing about it is, even if they do win, it's almost as if no matter how many wins now Clement gets in the next 3 or 4 games, as soon as we lose another one, then this whole cycle's going to start again.
Well, the only way it's going to stop, and I think you'll agree with this, Lewis is a younger generation, so he might slightly be different here, and I'll get his opinion on it. But for the older generation, it's quite simple. Until they start beating Celtic, that's always
Correct.
going to be what they see now. Lewis,
Well,
you're
you know
a
what?
different generation. Do you think that's the same, or do you feel as if they could win all these games up to the Celtic game and then get a draw or something like that? Is that something that...
No. No, I think his record against Celtic is simply not good enough, and I think every Rangers fan can agree on that. He's had a cup final against Celtic, which you could argue that we were the better team. Celtic came out on top because of a mistake by Jack Butland. Yep,
They found a way to win.
Yep, they found a way to win, and we didn't. That's it. They won, we didn't. We played them at Parkhead. We played them at Parkhead earlier on in the season. We got humped. We got done. We got done by them, and it looked as if the title was already over in September. So I don't think there's much of a willing to beat Celtic in that team. I don't as much.
The other thing as well, Davey, is I know you're saying you're no great into the tactics and all that, right? But I think we would all agree that if he doesn't change his tactics, if he's still the manager, by the time we play him at Ibrox and we play the same Tavernier again, playing the same position and getting outran and things like that, then we're cannon fodder. You can't keep making the same mistakes constantly and expect different results.
You know, I've said all this before, but I think this formation that he's got after playing Kilmarnock, maybe it doesn't even work there, but I was going to say it usually works against the lesser teams and we struggle against the better ones because he gives them far too much room. We end up with 4 forwards, 2 full-backs up the park, and you end up with 2 young midfielders getting overrun in midfield and centre-backs you can't rely on against fast attackers. So it's going to change. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know how good this team are on Thursday night. For all I know, they've won their first 2 games, so maybe they're better than I'm giving them credit for. But without doubt, they will. I would imagine they will play to hit us in the break in the counter attack. And that's the teams that worry me. That's the teams that worry me because I think we leave ourselves wide open to it.
Well, the reason I think that, I agree, but the reason I think that is the concentration levels are terrible with the Rangers' defence.
I'll be honest, I just don't think we've got very good defenders.
Well,
I'll be honest with you. I think it's just, I'll tell you something. I know Butland was partly responsible for that goal on Sunday, without doubt. But I honestly think that the way John Suter defended it, if that had been Connor Goldson, the phone lines and social media would be melting about it.
Well, another thing I'll say just on that, because I'm going to agree with you, Proper got brought in to be a replacement for Goldson. And Goldson, whatever anybody likes, and people are going to go, oh, Goldson was a donkey. Goldson is a better player than Proper, without a doubt.
I don't know. I've seen nothing so far to make anybody disagree with that.
And I would also say that Balogun, I said this earlier on, you might not have heard that, Balogun is probably the best out of the 3 of them, between Suter, Proper.
Aye, it's unfortunate you can't play 2 games a week, 3 games a week.
And fair play to the big fella I was talking about earlier, he came out to the media. At least he came out and spoke to the fans, spoke for the fans.
Aye. But I think that goes back to what I said earlier on, Si. It wasn't a rebuild in the summer, it was a downsize. See when you say that he's not as good as the guy he replaced.
That's true.
That's not a surprise because you're only paying him a third a week that you were paying the last time.
No, that's a really good point. Fair enough. I probably wouldn't have agreed with you 6 months ago about that, but when I'm looking back on it now, you're probably right. Great call, mate. Time's running out.
No problem.
No
problem at all. No problem. I'll speak to you again soon, mate.
All the best, pal. Cheers. Thanks.
Okay. Cheers. Bye.
Cheers. So we're almost finished for the night, guys. Sorry if you're on TikTok, you don't hear the. You get Sandra's commentary on it.
And we're up here to talk about you now.
And Mark Aitken's giving some quick commentary as well if you're missing anything. So it's all happening. Need to just turn that off here. So guys, we're just about finished. We've got 2 minutes left. Thanks, Lewis. First night coming on. You're only a young lad.
How was
it's
it?
no easy. How was it?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, I've not really much else to say. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed hearing other people's opinions, especially hearing the phone. When I've been here and doing the behind the scenes, obviously I've not heard the phone calls, so it's been good to hear.
You know exactly what's going to happen, don't you? See, as soon as this is finished, what about that, and I'll tell you about that, and I forgot to see that so and so. But I did tell him the no swearing rule, so
No,
I've swore 3 times right enough, but that's my fault.
Very much.
No, you done well. Thanks for all the comments, loads and loads of comments coming in tonight. We also got the Instagram running for the first time. People joining and leaving and joining, whatever. I don't know how to work it that much. Cam will do the pre-match. It doesn't matter how bad things get, we'll always be supporting the club. Follow, all that stuff. It is what it is, guys. We just have to ride the storm.
2 questions for you. Is this
Yeah.
from smelling by any chance, or have I got a husky voice?
I don't know, could be 2. Could be the both of them. Any other? Was that 2 questions?
That was 2 questions.
Aye. It's been a long one tonight, guys. It's been a hard time, but we always got to face the camera. You get pelters, that's part of it as well. I slag a Celtic fan, so you take it back. I don't mind that, to be fair. Me and Sandra's been through the mill with that for years.
Definitely, so husky voice is not.
Aye. We don't care. But listen, I think the last comment I'll make about the weekend is Derek McInnes, in my opinion, his setup and his tactical awareness is far superior to the manager for Clement that we've got just now. And eventually, if I had the choice of the 2 of them, I would rather have McInnes. I'm not saying I would pick him as a manager of Rangers, but I was definitely saying McInnes is an upgrade to Clement. What's your last words, Lewis, before we finish tonight? I'll leave it with you.
Just thank you everyone for the comments for tonight, and thank you, Michelle, I think it was, for saying you did all right. Thank you very much. It's been good. I've enjoyed my debut. Hopefully many more to come in the future.
There you go, he's stealing on a woman and everything.
No.
So that's all
Right,
happening
yeah.
already. Well, win, lose or draw, we always finish the show with the